A positive relationship is going to be dots, but they're almost going to look like a line all going from left to right positive. And yes, I do want you drawing this. Okay. A negative relationship is going to be similar, but from left to right, it's going negative. You could almost put a line here to show positive, a line here to show negative. Okay. And then no correlation is going to be all over the place. There is not a relationship there at all. Does that make sense? So then the line of best fit says given a positive or negative correlation. And when we say correlation, that's how they relate together. Okay, so what is the relationship between them? And you can kind of see the word almost relate in there. So given a positive or negative correlation, you can write an equation to predict results. All right, if you are someone that likes color, because we're going to draw 4 different lines, you may want to get out some different colors to do it, but we will label each line, so don't feel like you have to, okay? So the data in the graph below shows the resting heart rates and ages of a group of 20 people at the gym. Which line best represents the data? Graph each line to justify your answer. So I'm going to take the line. So the first is line A. I am going to graph this line. The intercept is at 80. And my slope is down 2 over 3. Negative 2 over 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. And then I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to label that A. Do you think that line is a good representation of the data? Nah, it doesn't look that great to me. Let's look at line B. We're at 75, which is right here. And go down 1 over 3. Down 1 over 3. Down 1 over 3. Down 1 over 3. That's line B. That one looks pretty good, right? But let's check the other ones because we have another 1/3. Line C, we're going to go 80, down 1 over 3, down 1 over 3, 1 over 3. That's line C. And then line D is our easiest line because it's just going to be right here. Because it's y equals 50. Which line encapsulates most of the data? The best. Line B. Okay, you see how this line is going straight through the data. Line C is a little bit on top of it. Line A, the diagonal is a little too steep, okay? And line D has no relationship there. Okay, does that make sense? So our line of best fit would be line B. Any questions on that? Okay, let's go down. It says determine which line best fits the data shown on the graph. Immediately we can cross out 2. Which 2? All the positive ones, because this is a negative correlation, right? It's going from left to right negative. So I'm going to cross off A and C. And now, all I have to do is check 2 lines. So y for b, I'm going to go -2. And then it's up 3, 1, 2, 3, to the left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Line B, does that look like a good line? No, let's go ahead and look at D to double check. Okay, I'm going to go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 3. Down 5 over 3. How's that line look? A little bit better? Okay, so if we want to show the line of best fit, that's going to be D. Okay, we're going to do a couple more like this. Number 2, which ones can we cross off immediately? The C and D, because those are both negative slopes. I'm going to do A first. Go up 3. Okay, and then up 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Oh, this is looking really good, right? The chances of it being better than this, probably pretty slim. But we're doing it just in case. I'm going to go up 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. I'm going to see a line that looks like this. What's our answer? A is the correct answer there. All right. Number 3, what can we cross off immediately?
B and D.
B and D, because it's not a negative slope, right? Now, A is up, it starts at 0, 0, and it's up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, down 4 over 1. Is that going to work? Nope. Let's look at C, up 1 over 4, down 1 over 4. I went 3. How's that one look?
Better.
Much better. So C is going to be our answer there. Any questions about finding the line of best fit? Okay, so as we said, when we talked about the line of best fit, we talked about correlation. And correlation means the relationship between something. Okay, and in a scatter plot, a positive correlation means they're all going to go in the same way. So, for instance, if you are buying food in the cafeteria, and it's number of items and price, the more items you buy, the price is going to go up, right? But if you buy a candy bar and a burger versus a soda and an apple, it's going to be a different price, but there's still 2 items, right? Mm-hmm. So it would plot it, and it would be a positive correlation, because the more you buy is more money, but it's going to depend on the item. All right. Now, a negative correlation is like when you have an airplane, it's decreasing in speed. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a constant speed over time, right? But if it was at different intervals, okay, then that would be a negative correlation because it's coming down, okay? So we want to look at these scenarios and just say, is there a relationship there? Do they correlate? Yes or no. So we'll put correlate or no correlation. And then why do they correlate? So we have to explain how that works, okay? So the first one, the amount of time you study for a test and the score you receive. Is there a correlation there? So we're going to put correlation. What is the correlation? Right? And we can say positive, but how do we explain that correlation? The more time spent studying, the higher the score. Okay, the height of a person and the letters in a person's name. We would say no correlation. That's because height has no relationship to the number of letters. Okay, that's not going to be any prediction. Now, age and height, there'd be a prediction, right? But not height and letters of the name. That's just silly. All right, so see, the price of a hamburger at a grocery store and the amount of hamburgers sold. What's the correlation? You don't have to put necessarily positive or negative because it's going to depend, right? So the correlation, we'll say here, what are we going to say in general? The cheaper or higher price of hamburger, the more or less sold. Actually, this would be a negative correlation, right? The higher the price, the less sold. The lower the price, the more sold. Time on your x-axis. Does that make sense? Okay. Really, I don't like that they say hamburger because technically it's ground beef. They don't actually sell hamburger. But that's just me. All right. Any questions about those three? What, Grant? So number 5, we have to pick as the age of the car increases, its value decreases. Which scatter plot best represents this relationship? C. Okay, we're going to get through this last problem, and then we'll go to lunch, okay? So the table shows the altitude of an airplane and temperature outside the plane. If you do not have your calculators out, please get them out now. We want to make a scatter plot of this data. So I'm going to take the points 0, 590. I'm going to go 0, 59, not 590. I'm going to put it right here. So I'm graphing what my scatter plot says. So in the bottom, it's altitude in hundreds. So this 5 means it's 500. It's going 59.2. Then we have 1,000, 61.3. 1,500, 55.5. 2,000, 41.6. 2,500, 29.8. 3,000, 29.9. 3,500, 18.1. 4,026.2. 4,500, 12.4. And 5,000.6. Okay, now remember this is a scatter plot, so we're not connecting the points because there is no relationship between them consistently, okay? Because this is just saying the altitude at the temperature. So basically altitude is height, temperature is temperature, and they're saying the plane, what is happening? Is it a positive or negative correlation? Negative correlation. And explain this relationship. What is it? The higher the altitude, the lower the temperature. Okay, good. We explained that well. Now what we're going to do is we have to draw our own line of best fit. On your homework, you're going to have a different answer than someone else because chances of you picking the same 2 points, pretty slim. So I shouldn't see the same 2 points on your homework as someone else. Got it? We're going to pick the same 2 because we're doing this as a class. I'm going to go the 500, and what's that point? 559 point, you said 2? Mm-hmm. And then I want to pick another point. I'm going to go, I like this 3,000. So 3,000, and what is that? 29.9. Okay, so since I have those 2 points, that's where I'm going to draw my line of best fit through those 2 points. Now that I've done that, I have to go and I have to write an equation in slope-intercept form. So we're taking our previous knowledge and we're going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm going to go 29.9 minus 59.2 all over 3,000 minus 500. Remember, I should get a negative slope. What is 29.9 minus 59.2? And then in the bottom, we have 2,500, correct? What is that as a decimal? Divided by 2,500.
0.01172.
1172. Okay. On your homework, I'll just have you round to hundredths. But here, we're going to write it all out. So that is our slope. Now, we can go and we can take one of our points. We can take the slope. We can use point slope form and find it. Or what would be easier? Yeah, why? Well, that's the form we have to put it in. Yeah.
Y equals 0.1172 plus 59.
Mm-hmm. Is anyone...
X negative 0.11.
So they gave us our y-intercept, right? That was 0.59. If they don't give you your y-intercept, you know how to solve it. But here they did, so we can just go ahead and plop it into the equation. Does that make sense? So approximately, this is our line of best fit. Okay, so now our line of trend, the line of best fit, what is the temperature at 2,500 feet? Is X or Y feet? X is feet. What is Y? Temperature. So I'm going to make sure that I have that down so I know where I'm going to plug in this 2,500. Where do I plug in the 2,500? For the X, Y equals negative 0.01172 times 2,500 plus 59. What is negative 0.01172? 29.3 negative, right? Plus 59. So what do we get?
88.
Negative? Positive. No.
Positive.
59 minus 29.3. 29.7 degrees Fahrenheit. So at 2,500 2,500 feet in the sky, the temperature is approximately going to be 29.7 degrees based upon the equation that we used. Does that make sense? Okay, last one, and then we'll go to lunch. Using your line of trend equation, what is the altitude if the temperature is at negative 20? Plug it in for Y. So we're going to go negative 20 equals negative 0.01172 X plus 59. And then minus that 59. We get negative 79 equals negative 0.01172. 72x. We divide by that. And what do we get? 6740, not 6767. 0.6. Is that to the 100th? Okay, so that means when the temperature is negative 20 degrees, how far up are they? They're at 6,740.6 feet. Does that make sense? All right.